Desert living, endless sunshine, outdoor activities, but is St. George the right place for you? In this video, we're going to explore the top 5 pros and cons of living in St. George, Utah. Hey there, I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty, your Utah YouTubing realtor. If you're thinking of making a move to the Utah area, reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Make sure to stick around to the end where I'll share a bonus pro with you that just might seal the deal for your move to St. George. Spectacular scenery, outdoor recreation, and at least 300 plus days of sunshine a year. That's my pro number one. St. George has some of the most beautiful scenery, very unique scenery with all the red rocks, all those different formations here in this area just make it for a red rock lover's paradise. Such beautiful places all around you. The whole area is ringed by these beautiful mountains, these unique formations. But with all that beautiful scenery, of course, you know that St. George is really a gateway to some of the state's greatest national parks. You've got Zion National Park. You have the beautiful scenery of that canyon. Of course, the Angel's Landing hike is very famous. And it's also a very drivable distance to the Grand Canyon National Park. I would estimate from here about 3 to 4 hours to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. You're also close to Cedar City, which has some of the high mountain pine trees, alpine mountains. It's close to St. George, so that scenery and that outdoor lifestyle is fantastic. Lots of reservoirs in the area. You have Quail Creek and Sand Hollow and Gunlock Falls. So a lot of state parks and reservoirs to enjoy in this area. So the outdoor scenery, outdoor lifestyle is absolutely fantastic. You know, with all those red rocks, people love to do rock climbing. That's one of the activities I see people doing. Of course, I mean, I'll touch on this a little bit later, but golfing. This place is fantastic for golfing. There's dozens and dozens of golf courses in the St. George area. So there's just so much to do in the outdoors in St. George. You know, to go along with that outdoor recreation, there's just lots of trails, mountain biking trails, hiking trails, road biking trails. So again, the outdoor recreation opportunities are almost limitless here in St. George. Okay, without a doubt, my con number one has got to be the sizzling summers. If you've ever been to Las Vegas in the summer or Phoenix in the summer, that's pretty much exactly what St. George feels like. You can have temperatures well over 110 degrees in the summertime. Typically, it does cool down just a little bit at night and in the early morning, but really not that much. You want to get a lot of your outdoor stuff in the summertime done way early because it just gets scorching and you just want to sit in your car, enjoy the AC, or go inside of a building and have AC there as well, because the rest of the time it can be so hot. And that runs generally, the hottest part of the year in St. George is going to be from May to September. But of course, it really dials up there between June and August, where it can just be absolutely scorching. And then again, the pro to that is you have mild winters. They're beautiful. That's why there's a lot of retirees, specifically from northern Utah, that move to southern Utah when they retire because they're tired of all the snow and ice and rain, and they move down to southern Utah where they have much more temperate climate in the wintertime. But in the summer, just be prepared for some sizzling temperatures. Can you believe that St. George has at least 35 city parks? That is one of my pros for this beautiful city. They just really treat their community right with all of the community parks and trails. They have a very robust park and trail system, trails running throughout the city that are great for hiking, walking, but particularly biking. You see a lot of people enjoying those trails for biking. I'm actually at the Thunder Mountain All Abilities Park. It's such a beautiful location, but let me just share with you some of the other parks that they have here in St. George. You've got the Fish Rock Park, Fossil Park, Black Hills View Park, the Blake Memorial Park, Bloomington Park, Broken Mesa Park, the Centennial Park, the Pioneer Park, and Petrovich Park. The Pioneer Park's probably my family's favorite. They just love going up there and climbing up on all the red rocks, and just they can spend hours. There's all these little miniature little caves they like to crawl inside of. They're big enough for like little kids. They're like little pockets in the red sandstone. The kids love it up there. But yeah, that's one of our family's favorite. You got the Fields at Little Valley, the Canyonland softball complex. You kind of got the original Vernon Worthen Park there in downtown St. George. One of the great benefits to living in St. George, tons of community parks and trails. So the popularity of St. George and all the growth that it's experienced over the last 50 years, in fact, it's been one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Utah, as well as the country, for a lot of years now. And with all that has brought just a higher cost of living. It has driven up the cost of housing. In fact, the median home price, at least according to Zillow, here in the St. George area is now $525,000. And frankly, that will buy you about a 2,000, maybe 1,800 square feet to 2,000 square foot home with about 3 beds and 2 bathrooms and a 2-car garage. That's a pretty typical home for around that price range in and around the St. George area. You know, while still cheaper than Southern California and even Las Vegas, it's still considered pretty pricey for the locals, and it is priced higher than many other Utah cities. Okay, another one of my pros here for St. George is its convenient location. Now, it is on the very southwestern end of Utah, so it's not close, it's not super close to the Wasatch Front, but what it is really close to is Las Vegas. You're about an hour and a half drive to Las Vegas from here, and all that Las Vegas has to offer. If you're into the cultural scene there, all the entertainment options, I mean, it's just close. And then when it comes to Southern California, if you wanted to head on down to Disneyland, you'd probably be 5 to 6 hours to the Southern California area. So that makes it very convenient. And then again, it's only about a 4-hour drive up to Salt Lake City. It's about a 3-hour drive up to Provo in the Utah County area. So the location does make it pretty convenient to be able to get to some other urban centers here in the western United States area. You know, so in a lot of ways, St. George still offers the benefits of a smaller community, the smaller filling in of a community, but still having all the benefits of being close or fairly close to some major urban centers. Okay, this is one of my cons, which was also, ironically, one of my pros. And that's because some people see things as pros, as some people see them as cons. For the pro portion, I talked about the convenient location where it's located close to Las Vegas and Southern California. But for others, that isolation is a con. So again, Southern Utah is on basically the extreme southwestern corner of Utah. In fact, the state line for Arizona is only about 5, 7, 8 miles from where I'm standing here. So it's quite isolated from, of course, from the main urban centers in Utah, at least along the Wasatch Front. You're about 4 hours to Salt Lake City. You're about 3 hours to the Provo area. So if you want to get to some of the major urban cities in Utah, you're going to have quite a bit of a drive, and that could lead to some people a feeling of isolation. Of course, if you're really into some of the professional sports teams in Utah that are all located up in the Salt Lake area, well, you're quite a ways away. If you want to go enjoy those games, you're going to have quite a bit of drive to be able to drive up to Salt Lake to watch the Utah Jazz or Real Salt Lake or even the Utah Hockey Club. But on the other hand, you're about an hour and a half over to Las Vegas, where you could enjoy some of the professional sports teams over there like the Las Vegas Raiders. But again, some people might feel that you're a little bit isolated from Las Vegas being an hour and a half away. And trust me, there is not much between St. George and Las Vegas, but a whole lot of desert. There are a few small towns like Mesquite and Littlefield, Arizona, but Mesquite, Nevada, but it's a pretty wide open space between St. George and Las Vegas. And again, I mean, you're 5 to 6 hours to Southern California. So some people feel like the isolation is a con. For others, they like the area and the fact that it is away from everything else. Another pro to St. George is the thriving and booming economy, from healthcare to education to tech jobs to sales jobs to tourism jobs. This area has just really grown. You know, back in the 70s, there were about 7,000 people that lived in the St. George area, in the metro area. Now there's almost 200,000 people that live here. So with all that growth, it's brought a lot of opportunities when it comes to a thriving economy. There's all kinds of shopping here now. You've got all the main big box stores to shop at here, as well as some malls. You've got plenty of chain restaurants, as well as local mom and pop stores to enjoy. So just that is one of my pros here for St. George, is the thriving economy. Okay, let's talk another con, and that is limited entertainment and limited shopping. Particularly on Sundays. There's a lot of the mom and pop shops that will close up on Sunday. So if you really like going shopping on Sunday, just maybe check ahead of time, make sure the place you want to go to is open. But for other people, they might actually find that as a pro, finding way less competition at the stores on Sunday. Of course, now all the big box stores are open on Sunday, you know, like Costco or in the grocery stores. All the chain fast food places, those are all open on Sunday, but there's going to be a lot of other, like I said, smaller mom and pop shops will close up on Sunday. So just something to be aware of. Also, again, when it comes to like the big entertainment, where St. George is not a massive urban center, you don't have a lot of the, like, you know, Utah Symphony or Utah Ballet, all that kind of stuff is going to be clear up in Salt Lake area, or you don't have a lot of entertainers that are going to be coming to St. George and putting on concerts. Okay, one of my other pros is, of course, St. George is a retirement-friendly community, lots of 55-plus communities, lots of amenities and activities. But besides that, I think it's a really friendly place for quality health care, especially for seniors and others. But there's great access to health care here in St. George. I'm just standing in front of the St. George Regional Medical Center. And can I just share with you a personal story about an experience I had with this hospital back in 2005. My business partner, who was my father, we were taking some real estate education classes that were being offered in Las Vegas. So we drove to Las Vegas from our home in Utah County, stayed with my brother who lives in Las Vegas, had a great first day of classes, came home and hung out with my brother. But about midnight, 1 a.m. or so, my dad woke us both up, my brother and me, and said, "Hey, I'm having a heart attack." And he'd had several by then, so he knew what it felt like. But he wanted us to give him a blessing because he wasn't sure if he should just go to a hospital there in Las Vegas or get into Utah, which was, you know, his home health insurance network. So my brother and I gave him a blessing, and afterwards we all had a very strong impression that we needed to get him to St. George as quick as we could. So I loaded him up in our car and hauled across the desert, made it over here to this hospital, and they ended up performing a quintuple bypass surgery on my father, and it gave him 11 more years of life. He would have died. We learned that one of the best heart surgeons in all of Utah had moved down to St. George and was the heart surgeon that worked on my father. So he was very fortunate that he got with such a talented surgeon that saved his life, gave him a lot more years to live with his family. So that's my personal experience with this hospital. There's just access to quality health care here in St. George. Okay, let's talk another con. That is just all the growth and traffic that is now in the St. George area. Again, when I was a kid back in the 70s, St. George was around 7,000 residents, and now the metro area of St. George is like 197,000 people. So with that growth, that has brought a lot of traffic congestion. Now there are some times when it's extremely congested in the early springtime when you have a lot of soccer tournaments and baseball tournaments, and you've got all the kids and families coming from northern Utah getting down to St. George, where the weather's much nicer during that time of year, and man, does it really fill up the streets. It can take you a long time to get around from place to place, and that's a bit of an inconvenience. I'm sure the locals absolutely hate it, but you know, if you were to compare this to, say, like Southern California, it's really not that bad. It's just a little inconvenient compared to how it used to be. All right, let's talk my St. George bonus pro. I'm in front of the Sky Mountain Golf Course. This one's actually located in Hurricane, about 20 minutes away from St. George. Just look at that backdrop. I found St. George Golf, or stgeorgeutahgolf.com, a great resource for looking at all the different golf courses, but just some of them around here are the Southgate Golf Club. You have the St. George Golf Club, Dixie Red Hills Golf Club. Of course, everyone talks about the Black Desert Golf Club, the Sand Hollow Golf Club. That is a stunning backdrop there next to Sand Hollow Reservoir. Of course, I'm here at the Sky Mountain Golf Course out here in Hurricane. Absolutely beautiful. You've got Copper Rock, Bloomington Country Club, the Entrada at Snow Canyon, and that's Country Club, Green Springs. So there's just dozens of absolutely beautiful golf courses in and around the St. George metro area. And pretty much all of them have just incredible scenery, those beautiful red rocks. What a great place to golf. So if you're looking for a fantastic location to call your next home and want to enjoy some of the best golfing in the world, come to the St. George area. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful about the 5 pros and cons of living in this beautiful city of St. George, Utah. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, tap on the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop another video about living in Utah. Again, my name is Scott Walters with Best USA Realty. I'm your YouTubing realtor, and whether you're thinking of making a move in 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 years, reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I love it when people reach out to me. And if you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy learning a little bit more about the St. George area. I've got a video on what it's like hanging out at Gunlock Falls, especially in springtime when the reservoir fills up and begins to spill over and creates these beautiful cascading waterfalls and swimming pools, or swimming holes. You can watch that video by clicking on here. Or if you want to know more what it's like about living in Utah, go check out my video about the things they don't tell you when moving to Utah, and you can watch that video by clicking on here. And with that, we'll catch you on the next video.